Welcome to an early morning edition of the Bootleg Studios of Rant Roller Sports. And this is going to be a quick video because people don't have attention spans. But I came across this video and I'm going to just play it first. It's about Boston Celtic head coach Ime Udoka. All right. And how he's being talked about being suspended for a year for having a relationship with a female co-worker inside the organization. And the feminist movement has hijacked sports, especially with ESPN. All of these super opinionated women on the panel that are clearly feminists. They clearly have feminist agendas. And they're making all these men on these networks kowtow and tiptoe and dance around things. Watch for yourself.
Well, one thing, Zach, that you touched on was just this gross focus on identifying unnecessarily women's names that may or may not be involved. And I think it is no.
Now, I want you guys to know, how did all of a sudden women in the Boston Celtics organization become victims when the only one who's really facing major punishment is the head coach, Ime Udoka, who had the relationship with a coworker. The coworker is not being punished that he had the relationship with. We don't hear her name being dragged out in the media. It's just Ime Udoka. And she looks so disgusted here for what? A man had a relationship with a female in the workplace. Like that hasn't been going on since men been working with women. Okay, this is nothing new. This has been going on since time immemorial. But she's outraged here, right? And she's gonna spiel, and they put her in control of the panel, even though Kendrick Perkins is the expert on the panel. He played in the NBA for over 10 years, and he played and won a championship for the Boston Celtics. I'm going to let you guys hear it, man.
It isn't too harsh to say that that was a failure by many people, including folks within our own industry. And Brad Stevens actually addressed that today. I want everyone to take a listen.
We have a lot of talented women in our organization, and I thought yesterday was really hard.
Now, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, we have a lot of talented women in our organization. Meaning what? Meaning what exactly? What are y'all getting at here?
On them, and I think that, nobody can control Twitter speculation, rampant. But I do think that we, as an organization, have a responsibility to make sure we're there to support them now, because a lot of people were dragged unfairly into that.
Starting with your head coach, sir.
I want to bring in our NBA analyst, Kendrick Perkins, into this conversation because, Perk, you played for the Celtics organization. What were your thoughts on this message here?
Well, one, to me, I didn't like Brad comments on this, and let me explain why. Not the fact that he was taking up and protecting the women in the organization, but
why did the women in the organization need protecting when there was a consensual sexual relationship between a male co-worker and a female co-worker? So why all of a sudden do the women in the organization need protection?
He said about the speculations and the Twitter BS and things to that nature, and how unfair it was to the women in the organization that is not involved with this particular situation. And I get that, right? But why is it speculations? It's speculations because of the reports that were put out by the actual Boston Celtics. So they didn't do a great job from the jump of actually protecting the women in their organization, because knowing that they were going to sit up here and give out this information and go out here and suspend Ime Udoka and talk about, just give a little details, it's going to have people speculating.
They could have taken care of this in-house, find Ime Udoka in-house, never put this out to the media, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. This is totally on the Boston Celtics and them trying to clout chase. I don't know what the hell is going on here.
And in my eyes, I feel like the Boston Celtics dropped the ball not only in protecting their entire franchise, but in protecting the women as well. They should have made sure that they crossed their T's and dot I's before they put this information out. And I get it. Now we're to this point, and now he had to go in here and he had to say this and he had to say that to protect those innocent women. But at the end of the day, man, it just ain't right how they went about it. The word accountability, okay? Accountability doesn't just go to Ime Udoka, okay? Accountability.
This man is being raked through the coals right now for having an affair, an office affair, which all you got to do is watch any TV show, any movie, Sex in the City, anything. This is commonplace, people. But who's the real victim here? Ime Udoka or some unknown woman that he had relations with that we will never know who she is, and quite frankly, don't care.
Goes to the other people that played a part in that as well. Let me tell you another thing I didn't like about my good friend Wick Grossbeck and Brad Stevens in this press conference when they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, you know, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position.
Look at her face. Look at this one, Malika Andrews, dead center in the middle. Look at her face, and look at the other feminist. I don't even know her name. I think she's a former athlete or so. Look at their faces, and then look at the men's faces. Okay, the men have to take this browbeating on a man's platform, ESPN, a sports network, okay, and have these angry ass feminists trying to ruin our good fun in sports.
But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
Well,
that's the problem that I have right now. Everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was a investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here. And I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the...
If transparency rules the day, why is not the female that was involved in a relationship with Ime Udoka being punished? Why isn't her name right out in the headlines with Ime Udoka if transparency is the key?
Information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because what we have to...
Well, I'm not speculating. Sure. I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a 1-year suspension. And I share your frustration with the lack of transparency, while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to a conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side.
Why not? Why isn't... women are always hollering about equality, so they should get equal punishment in this case. You just can't holler equality for something positive. You need to take on equality for the negative too.
Thank you for your perspective.
First she calls out Stephen A. Now she completely shuts Perk down. He had the information, according to him, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Kendrick Perkins is someone well known in the Celtics organization, but she still got upset, shut him down. She took him off the air. This is what happens when you have everybody agree all the time on ESPN. If you take everybody with the same perspective, the moment that someone on there has a different opinion, they're immediately taken off. Everyone agrees that
everything is controlled in the media. We understand this. Even on this platform of YouTube, they done dark shadow me many times. If you don't understand what dark shadow is, I'll put out a video. And if I have anything in my video that has any type of controversial wording in it, or language in it or ideology in it, your video will just stop getting views. And I'll give you an example. Your video could go out and get 100 views in the first hour or two, right? It goes up to a certain amount of views, then a day later, all of a sudden it just stops. They did this to me, that being YouTube, when I did a video about Asians being brutalized and victimized in ghetto communities, and I said that that's not true. If it wasn't for us buying so much Chinese food and frequenting their stores, they wouldn't have businesses in the ghetto. That video got dark shadow, and another video of mine about the COVID vaccine got dark shadow. So free speech is very limited in this country right now. The feminist movement is in full swing. Men are wimpier and weaker than ever. And even the strong men like Kendrick Perkins has to sit down with his hand over his chest. You see, he got his hand over his chest to signify to the lady, I don't want no smoke. That's what that body posture means. Even though he's stating his case, he's standing his ground, he had to put his hand over his chest to signal to her, hey, I'm not against you here. Yeah, when you should be against her. And every man should be against this. This is ridiculous. To me, that come from an era even before that, and I know they're disgusted. I know my generation, the 40-year-olds, is disgusted. The only ones who ain't is the 20-something-year-olds that have been indoctrinated into this feminist America and this feminist Western world. And one of our last places to go as men to get, to kick back, get problems off our mind, focus on something else other than our problems, sports. And here we got some angry ass women every time we turn on the TV telling us how wrong and how bad men are. Come on, guys. We got to stand up and stop this, man. I could go into a whole other things, how they try to hijack sports. But guys, wake up. This is what they're doing to us. These women don't belong on these panels if they're going to come with this feminist vibe, this feminist ideology, angry and combative with men. Why are you on a male platform? And I know women play sports too, but let's kick it. Let's be real. ESPN did not kick off because of women's sports. ABC, Wide World of Sports, Sports Machine, all these different shows around the country, sports shows did not start off, did not get millions of dollars invested in them for women sports. Okay? We just didn't want to leave them out. So we include women's sports in our network. But men don't watch women's sports. We might watch women MMA, women boxing. We may watch a WNBA. We watch women's college basketball because a lot of people have ties to the players. All right. But in general, we watch women's track and field maybe, but that's it. And not to say that women aren't athletes. Of course they are. But these networks that put on these sports shows were put there for men, for the most part, and women who also enjoy sports. But this has gotten out of control, ridiculous. Hit me in the comment section. I don't care if you're male or female. You agree or disagree. We could talk about it. The feminist movement is hijacking sports. I'm going to come back with another episode of this, a part 2 or part 3 or whatever. I only really try to speak about things I'm passionate about, and this just pissed me off. So I'm going to keep this short as I can. This has been the Bootleg Studios of Rant Roller Sports. Hit me in the comment section, guys. Peace.